Welcome to another wheel and force feedback setup video. Today is Project Cars 2. Again, people keep asking me for these and I promised to get around to doing them, so I'm doing them. So today, yeah, Project Cars 2 for the G920. First things first, get your G hub loaded up, which is, let's get some screen capture on the go. First things first, Carl. Here we go. Logitech G hub, click on your G920. We just need to make sure that these settings are all at default and that you haven't changed them, or they haven't randomly changed themselves. Click on the steering wheel. Everything should be as you see it there. 50, 900, ticked, and 10. Click on the pedal sensitivity, 50, 50, 50, and you don't want the pedals combined. So that's all there is to do in there. Next, bring up Project Cars 2, which is here. We're going to come over to the options. We're going to go to the controls. Now, you can choose your type, your brand, and your model. So obviously, select wheel, Logitech and G920. Pedal type separate. Again, you don't want combined pedals because you have 3 separate pedals. Calibrate the wheel. I suggest you go and calibrate the wheel. My steering wheel is way over there out of reach, so I can't physically show you how to do it. But click on calibrate, do what it tells you on the screen. Pretty simple. Same for the pedals. The only thing you want to pay attention to here, we all know the Logitech G920 has a very heavy brake pedal for that last 25% of its travel by default if you haven't modded it. And depending on your setup at your home, maybe you're running desk mounted, maybe you've got a wheel stand, maybe you're on a foldable Place It challenge, or maybe you've got a full static cockpit. You'll want to do something differently here. Those of you that are on anything other than a static rig, I advise you to calibrate your brake pedal here a little bit short. What I mean by that is, as you go through, do your clutch all the way down, all the way up. When you get to brake pedal, press the brake pedal only as hard as you ever want to have to press it in the game. So if you're on a desk mount, let's say I'm on a desk mount setup where I'm sat now. If I press that brake pedal to 100%, my chair is going to rock back like this. You don't want that. So press the brake pedal until just before your chair wants to start tipping back. That way, your 100% braking force will now be that hard. You'll never have to press it that little bit further again. You can do this in Windows so that it does it across the board for all games and sims. I've done a video showing you that, but if you haven't done that or you didn't want to, this is the way to do it in this particular game. And then your throttle all the way down, all the way up, because you want your maximum travel on that pedal. I hope that was clear. So once you're calibrated, automatic clutch, obviously if you're going to use your clutch, you want this off. And gearing, obviously manual if you want to use your shifter as well. Well, even if I haven't tried this, but I'm going to assume that manual means you can use paddles as well, and automatic is just fully automatic. I haven't actually tried it because who drives automatic in sim racing? Nobody. So yeah, clutch, automatic clutch off if you've got a clutch, and you have it's a G920. If you want to use the clutch and you want to use the shifter, leave that on manual. What have we got next? Configuration. You don't want to dead zone your steering wheel. That's ridiculous. No one wants to be able to wobble their wheel and the wheel's not turn. You're not driving an old car from the 60s that's been to the moon and back. Sensitivity, you want left at 50%. You don't want to increase or decrease that. You want a linear response from your steering wheel. You want it to be one-to-one with the wheels. I don't see any reason to have a dead zone on your throttle. You touch the throttle, you want the engine to, your simulated throttle butterfly to open just like it would in a real car. You don't want to have a bit of play there. Throttle sensitivity, again, I prefer a linear input, so it's one-to-one. You move it 1%, it opens 1%. You move it 100%, it opens 100%. Braking dead zone, again, I don't like a dead zone on the brake, really. It could be slightly personal preference. In real life, it varies massively from car to car how responsive brake pedals are. Some may have a tiny dead zone if it's an old car and there's a bit of play in the bushings of the pedal. Others, more modern vehicles definitely won't. They're very, very sensitive. Again, brake sensitivity, you want, a linear brake pedal, and you've calibrated it short if you needed to in the settings a minute ago, so that should be just fine. Clutch dead zone, I do like a little clutch dead zone because I like to rest my foot on the clutch sometimes because I do a lot of rally driving, and so I'm up and down the gears a lot. and I do shift manually using an H pattern shifter. I mean, I've just carried that over into, into Project Cars 2 here, but it's up to you really. But I like a little dead zone. Sensitivity, I don't like to have to press the clutch pedal 100% of the way to the floor before you can change gear. Although in this game, it almost doesn't matter, because you can actually just you can shift through the gears using the H pattern shifter with the clutch off, and it still lets you go into gear, which I think is a bit crap. Dirt Rally and Dirt Rally 2, for example, if you haven't put the clutch down beyond your saturation point, it doesn't let you change gear. Yes, you can physically move your stick, but the car in the simulator stays in the same, well actually it goes into neutral, because that's what would happen in real life if you didn't put the clutch down. You could force it out of gear and it would go into neutral, but you'd really struggle to get it into one. This just lets you go from gear to gear, which is pants. So yeah, I've said it again, both those clutch settings I've carried over from how I have them in all sims, but this one's a bit crap and almost makes no difference. So, do with that what you will. But that's what they do. It's just nigh on pointless when you can change gear without using the clutch anyway. And speed sensitivity, what does that do again? Just how sensitive the vehicle is in response to your controller steering input, and how much steering lock is applied at high speed. A higher value will make the vehicle less sensitive. Oh yeah, yes. I've left this at 0 because that's how I find it feels nicest and most realistic. You can play around with it if you want. That's why I've forgotten what it does, because I haven't done anything with it. To be honest, this does have really good descriptions of what everything does on the right hand side here. So, whilst I'm making this video to show you how I've got things, I don't really need to give you that greater an understanding, because they've done a pretty good job of describing it on the right there. But yeah, speed sensitivity, I've left it at 0 and that feels right to me. You can play around with it if you want. Next tab, edit assignments. I think my throttle wasn't assigned correctly. So just go through this and assign your different pedals and your different inputs to where you want them to be. I think everything else was right, but it was just my accelerator pedal. My throttle wasn't assigned correctly, but just, make sure they're right, obviously. In fact, yeah, because you won't be able to do the calibration bit that we did earlier if you haven't assigned. That's how I discovered my throttle wasn't assigned properly by default, because it didn't register in the calibration section. So just make sure that's right. And again, you've got vehicle, ignition, start engine, headlights, wipers. Set them all to what you want them to be. There's no real, that's personal preference. Put it where you want. Same with these keyboard shortcuts here and the camera and the view. Again, that's all up to you. It's not really relevant to the force feedback. So let's click the force feedback tab. This is a really interesting or sort of cool way they've done this. Flavors: raw, immersive, or informative. Or custom, which is where you can edit text files and really tweak things. Raw is what I use, and I'll just read what it says because they've described it perfectly. Raw is unfiltered force feedback, allowing you to feel the full strength of the various forces felt by the drivers. The other two are dampened down, basically. So this is what you want it on, in my opinion. You want to feel everything there is to feel. So the gain, again, it's the overall strength of the force feedback. 70 seems to be a sweet spot for me. It leaves overhead in the wheelbase motor so that you're not going to clip. And when you load it up going around a tight bend, there will be more forces available for the wheel to apply to you, for you to feel. So you want that. Volume is like, well, as it says here, it's basically the weight of the wheel. Lower it to make the wheel feel overall a bit lighter. Turn it up to make it feel a bit heavier. Again, the descriptions on the right are really good, so you probably don't even need me to do this, but people have asked for a Project Cars 2 one, so here it is. The tone, yeah, this is a balance between surface detail and tyre slip. The way that it works, if you favour one over the other, you will lose detail in whichever one you haven't favoured. So if you favour surface detail, you'll lose a little detail in the tyre slip feedback. If you favour tyre slip, you'll lose a little detail in the road surface. So I figure leaving it slap bang in the middle is the best place for it. I don't know why I'd want more of one and less of the other, but each to their own. Maybe you guys do. For me, it stays at 50. Effects is basically, this bumps up the effects of the road detail that you feel. Now, the Logitech G920 isn't the most aggressive of wheels or strongest of motors. So for me, I bumped this up to 75, and that didn't drown out, pardon me, I didn't drown out anything else, but it gave me a little bit extra detail that I felt was just lacking. And then menu spring strength is how much force feedback is, or how much of the motor strength is used to return the wheel to the center when you enter the menus. Nothing particularly exciting there. But those are my personal settings. And again, the title of the video is best force feedback settings. They're best for me. It's a personal choice. Might not be best for you. And it's just using, you know, the in-game settings here to tune things. There are more detailed, more complicated ways you can fiddle around with things too. But I hope it's been helpful for some of you guys. I'll get more of these out for the Thrustmaster stuff as well, and for the other sims that people have requested as and when I get time. But as always, have a great weekend and take it easy.